What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? It is the Thursday Late Show, Betting with the Bag, June 6th, 5:30 p.m. in New York, New York. 2:30 p.m. in Las Vegas, Nevada. 3:30 p.m. here in San Jose, Costa Rica, and I'm pumped. Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Belmont Stakes on Saturday, and Kevin Durant ruled out for Game 4, so you're telling me there's a chance. I'm very, very, very excited about the sports world right now, and I'm about to make some very exciting bets, starting with some dogs that I'm pumped about. But first, I need to tell you about, didn't make the Mets bet because I didn't realize it started at 10 after. Right when the show was ending, I saw that the game had started, and I didn't take it live because the Mets went up 2-0 in the first inning. I probably should have taken it live when they were down 3-2. Big Boss cashed both of his bets from the early game. He's now 4-0 this week on the show. And then my 2 bets, I took Cardinals first 5 minus a half. Didn't take them full game -1. That blew up in my face. Start the day out, and the Royals go up 2-0 after 2 innings against the Red Sox. I'm thinking maybe I got some plus money action. So I'm 1-2 on the show, but I'm 0-2 with my bets. I would prefer to do worse on the show and better with my bets, but it is what it is, and I'm very pumped up to be here with you guys. Shout out to Lance LaRose. We got Brandon Lugo. We got Yanks Guy 30. Yanks Guy 30 on Yanks team total over 5.5. Yanks first 5 minus a half. Gleyber Torres. I thought Gleyber's not in the lineup. Let's just double check that right now. For some reason, I thought that. Yes, he's not in the lineup. Gleyber Torres is not in the lineup. And huge amount of bets on the Yankees. Up to 86% of the tickets on the Yankees. And look at all those right-handed bats in the Toronto Blue Jays lineup. I tell you, I'm not taking the Yankees here. Something just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right. And I know that Edwin Jackson should be an auto fade, but now Yanks guy knows what he's talking about. Yanks guy, spectacular baseball capper. Whatever he's on should be followed. Should be followed. Okay. Oh, yeah, and Yanks guy says Torres not starting. Sorry, I already wrote that. Okay, I feel you. I feel you there. Okay. First off, I need to let you guys know that I want you guys, all of you, in my Beat the Bag contest. If you can, please join us in the Beat the Bag contest. First off, here is the free program, so you can pick your horses. All you have to do is pick the winning horse in each race. There you go. Free to enter. $200 to the winner. And if you beat the bag, and here you just, let me go to the top of this. Let me actually go to this will work better. Here we go. Let's go to this. And then I'll give you this link. This link is better. Here we go. And all you have to do is just reply to thread with your horses. And there you go. Free chance at $200 and a chance to beat the bag and a chance to take part in the Belmont Stakes. So there you go. Those are my 2 things. All right, let's get back to it. Chip Plylar now. Bruins over third period at home has been automatic. It has been a great bet. We got Flick My Bick. We got Yu Chang Yu. We got Deer Slayer Ski. Ron Lofton. Walla Walla Dose. Jason Turgey. I already sent that. Jason Turgey. We got Walla Walla Dose. Bookie Lover Q. Joey Evang. Anil Frank. E. Fresh. Taylor Dunks, Ricardo Gutierrez, James Spina, Farouk Islam, K-Ma. Says it's Ann-Americ on this show. Jimmy, for the UFC picks, yes, he is. We will have Ann-Americ joining us in about 25 to 27 minutes. And then Ski Profit's going to come on at about 6:18 because I'm ready to lock in for game. What game is it? For game 4 of the NBA Finals? Bled's W said, should have taken Pittsburgh money line. I'm telling you, these interviews say a lot. And Archer's interview, he just seemed different. He seemed very focused, and he said, don't pay attention to my first 6 starts. Now, I know his velocity is slightly down, but he said he turned the corner in that last start, and he expected to pitch well today. My mistake not jumping on it. But I did stay off. Everybody was jumping on the over, and I pumped the brakes there. There's Brian Watson. There's Dark Kent. Dark Kent says, Jimmy, the roof is open at the Rogers Center. Wow. That is better for the hitters. That is better for the hitters. But let's think, wow, thank you for that. I've been waiting to see when they would open the roof, and I didn't think it was going to be warm enough today. That is better for the hitters. The ball flies when the roof is open. Let's take a quick look at what the weather is for that Yankees game. And I didn't even write it in. Of course I didn't even write it in because I didn't think they were going to. Let's go here. We'll get it right here. Here we go. The weather in Dome Stadium. Even RotoWire doesn't have the weather. Wow. Okay, I'm going to go to, you know what? Let's just do this really quick. Really quick. Let's go here and get this information right now. Wow, roof open. Roof open alert. Here we go. Toronto. Roof open. Yeah, it's 67 Fahrenheit. We usually use 70. If it's under 70, we keep it close. 67 Fahrenheit, 4 miles per hour out. That is good for offense. That is good for offense. We got Mr. Fat Fist in the house. Gas Station Sushi, Kevin Pine, Joe Anisi, Terrell Goodman, Mickey Cohen. 400. We got Isan Solfagari, Ilya Katz, Russell Gordy, DJ Big Boss. 4-0 this week on the show. What a guy. LeRae Laniel in the house. Love it. King Rail said, what up, everybody? I already took first half over 105.5 Raps, Golden State. Wow. And Von Polo says, I saw your Belmont video, so it looks like you are doing no exotic wagers. Yes, I'm doing no exotic wagers. I'm not. And the whole idea behind that is that I'm going against the horses that are going to lower the exotic wagers. And there is a good chance that Tassis and War of Will be involved in the top 3 to lower those prices. So I just want the big numbers on spinoff. That's the thought process behind it, is that when you have these 2 co-favorites that are expected to be in the running, I think that they'll lower the exotics. And that's the thinking behind it. That I'm going to get huge numbers on spinoff. I think I could get even better than 15-1. So that's my thinking behind it, Von Polo. And also, due to the disqualification, due to a very bad month last month, I need to be focused with my cash. And the best use of my cash, I feel, now this could easily, I could lose on Saturday, but is using the $300 that I've set aside and just $100 across the board win play show on a horse that could go off at 20-1. That's my thinking. I wonder what you think about all that, Von Polo. There's the fight analyst. We have a fight analyst video ready to pop off. Pop off. We got a fight analyst video. We're going to drop that shortly, but let's go through the games right now. Right now. Okay. Let's get to work. Let's get to work. Terrell Goodman said, argued with my girl to be here, Jimmy. I cashed Mets, Red Sox, Rays, and Cards -1.5 this morning. When you cash 4 plays in the morning, you get to do whatever you want, Terrell Goodman. Cheers to our guy, Terrell Goodman. A little 4-0 day. Lets you do whatever you goddamn please. Shout out to our guy, Terrell Goodman. All right. Okay. Russell Gordy says, stay woke. Vegas taking money, then switching pitchers, so you bet twice. Interesting. Okay. So let's get to work right now. Blues, Bruins. I've seen too much, and I've become a fan of the St. Louis Blues. They completely outshot the Bruins. They had possession of the puck the whole time. Sure, Chara could be out there. That could motivate the Bruins, but he's got a broken jaw. And this is a mean St. Louis Blues team that has earned everything. My plan is to take the Blues to win Game 5 on the road, and then take the Bruins to win Game 6 on the road, and then take the Bruins to win Game 7 at home at this point. But I'm going to take the big plus line on the team that's dominating most of the hockey game. Yes, the Bruins' power play is spectacular. Incredible. Will it be with Chara with the broken jaw? It'll still be very good. It'll still be very good. Grzelcyk, let me pronounce his name right, Matt Grzelcyk, should be coming back from his concussion. You know what? It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is this game at 60 minutes, one team has started dominating huge portions of it. And that team is the St. Louis Blues. And if you watch them getting interviewed right now, they are focused, they are scary, and they are ready to come into Boston and win Game 5. So, I am taking the St. Louis Blues to win tonight. Let me quickly line shop for myself here. I'm going to take the St. Louis Blues at plus 140 available, Bovada, and book it. Blues plus 140. Take it. Okay. All right, let's keep rolling along. We have 5 games we got to talk about. Then we're going to get to the fight analyst video. Now, the fight analyst, Mr. Fat Fist, I'm going to be recording their plays, but they just have 1 play each. I'd like them to have at least 2 under their belt before we start putting them up. So the record's not up. They both came short. They both lost on their first week. But come on, we need a sample size. I believe in these guys, and I'm excited. But so the records won't be up at this point. Okay. So let's move into this action here. And we got the sports keg here. Some very, and Mr. Fat Fist, all of these great fight analysts. This is very exciting. Okay, here we go. Let's get to work on this card. Twins Indians. Barrios Bauer, 64 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 7 miles per hour in. The Twins have yet to lose 3 straight games or be swept this season. Now the AL Central leading Twins are only up 9.5 games. Only up 9.5 games. Let's talk about what these Indians are saying. They know this is a must-win. They just lost Carrasco to this illness or whatever it is. This is what Roberto Perez said. He said, we had a meeting and we talked about each of us supporting each other. We're going to do it for him. We talked about not being down. We talked about taking the positive things and going from there. We know this is a big series. We talked about playing really hard, and let's see what happens. Now we have Bauer. He's 0-4 in his last 6 starts. He looked terrible against the White Sox on Friday. He has pretty good numbers against the Twins, 4.27 ERA in 20 career starts. Lamont Williams said, max bet New York Yankees run line. I get it. I completely get it, but I just don't want to be on that side right now with 90% of the tickets on the Yankees. It makes sense, though, and those of you back in the Yankees, Yanks guys on them. Lamont Williams is on them. That's great company. Barrios 4-2 with a 4.0, and Ron Crawford says Yankees run line and Texas. I get Texas, but we're going to go over these lineups. The lineups are extremely important, so we're going to go over them and make some moves. Okay, and Russell Gordy says too many on Yanks. I thought the same thing, Russell. Not saying that means the Jays are going to win, but that's not a bad lineup for the Jays. All right-handed bats. They know J.A. well. Barrios, no decision on Friday. 3 runs, 3 hits, 8 strikeouts, 3 walks, and 6 2/3 at Tampa Bay. All right, let's take a look at what we're dealing with, lineups and market. For the market in this Indians Twinkies spot, the Twins open at plus 104. They are now at plus 106, a 2-cent move towards the Cleveland Indians. And as you know, the taint play of the day is the Cleveland Indians. Let's take a quick look at the totals. The total here, San Diego, what am I talking about? The total here, let's go quickly for this Indian spot. Where is it? There it is. It opened at 8.5. It's still at 8.5, but Bookmaker has moved it to 9. Bookmaker has moved it to 9. Let's take a quick look at lineups and see what you guys are saying about this Twinkies Indian spot. There we go. Bada boom. Cleveland under 8.5 plus 100. If Cleveland must win, it must be a low-scoring game with Barrios. Yeah, but that total's been moving up. It's a little concerning. For the Indians, Lindor, Kipnis, Santana, Bowers, Ramirez, Luplo, Naquin, Perez, Martin. For Minnesota, Kepler, Polanco, Garver, Rosario, Gonzalez, Scope, Adrianza, Cron, Astudillo. Ron Crawford says the line tells it all. Cleveland to play. I think that's it. Gay Pasky says Hap knows them better. It's like hockey practice where you shoot on the home goalie. Advantage goes to the pitcher in baseball. Does it? Sogard, Guerrero Jr., Greichuk, Gurriel, Galvis, Drury. He doesn't know these guys. He doesn't know I understand what you're saying, Gay Pesky, but this is a young squad. Bada Boom said, I already sold myself on it, or Cleveland won't hit because they never do. And Lamont Williams says, yep, Jimmy, a lot of money on the Yankees. All that said and done, I think you guys are right. And I will be taking the taint play of the day. I will be backing these Cleveland Indians. I'm getting a minus 114 at Pinnacle. Farukazan says they haven't lost 3 in a row all season. I know they haven't. Russell Gordy says Yanks versus Cleveland in 24 hours. Yes, but that to me is not nearly as important as this game. It's a different sort of situation, but I hear what you're saying. All right, I'm jumping on right now. The Cleveland Indians, minus 114. Book it. Okay, let's move on to the Yankees-Jays. We're all talking about it. Let's break it down. Happ, 4.83 ERA, but a nice whip of 1.22, and he's coming off a very nice performance against a tough Red Sox squad. And Russell Gordy says Cleveland better when they got Yanks in 24 hours. I hear that. Okay, Jays won the first 2 games of a 3-game series. Could they possibly sweep the Yankees? Edwin Jackson, 0-3, 3.22 ERA, 2.20 whip. He looked terrible, but that was in Colorado. Excuse me, that was in Colorado. 3 starts against Toronto. Happ 2-0 with a 2.81 ERA. Made 1 start against the Jays in 28 after being traded to the Yankees. 7 hits, 2 runs, 8 strikeouts, and 5 in the third. Jackson, 2-7, 5.21 ERA, and 21 career starts against the Yankees. If you think about all the money that's on the Yanks, this line's not moved much. It's moved 5 cents towards the Yankees. 5 cents. The total's at 10. Aloha Eastside Roller says Yanks team total over. Lance LaRose, Twins money line and full game over. Liberty Finder saying Torres out of the lineup, but that's a big deal. For the Yankees, you have LeMahieu, Hicks, Voit, Sanchez, Morales, Frazier, Urshela, Estrada, Maben. Look, I know this Yankees team's been winning and they're 38-22. I also know when you begin any kind of argument with look, it's probably not a very sound argument. But that's an ugly lineup. That's a very ugly lineup that's getting minus 200 on the road against a team full of righties except for Sogard. Gate Pasquis says recency bias on the Jays. Yanks kill him tonight. I am not making a bet on this game, and I wish you guys, because almost all you guys are on the Yankees. I haven't heard anyone on the Jays. I wish you guys all good luck. I wish you all very good luck. Okay. Let's move on to Orioles Rangers. This is another spot where there's some pieces in the lineup that are missing. And the hottest Ranger bat, Shin-Soo Choo, is not in the lineup. The best Ranger bat, Joey Gallo, is also not, he's on the IL. So you take the 2 best bats off of this Rangers team. Baltimore still has not brought in their lineup because they had 3 different injuries last game. None are deemed serious, but this Orioles team is banged up. Big. Oh, and Russell Gordy says, right, Jimmy, total stuck on 10 in Toronto, taking for Toronto first 5. There it is, first guy. And Joe Anisi, this guy in New York, says, why is Kendrys Morales still in this lineup? Bada boom, Blue Jays plus 1.5 or plus 115. Marcellus Wallace says, any lineup can smash Jackson. The Herb says, outside of Morales, that lineup isn't that bad. Yeah, you're good, Mr. Fat Fist. Yeah, I know you want to send in your videos after the weigh-in. It's all good. It's all good. Okay. Orioles, Rangers, Hess, Gerardo. I've become a Gerardo fan. Anil Frank saying fade Hess. I understand that. 7 runs in 4 innings in his last start. He looks terrible. He's not won a game since April 1st when he shut out the Blue Jays for 6 1/3. Hess made 1 start against the Rangers. That was August 3rd of last year. 7 runs, 5 earned. But again, is this the Rangers lineup? And Drew Daddy putting 200 on Taint. Let's get it, Drew Daddy. I'm putting 125 on Taint. Okay. Let's take a quick look at what we are getting here. A quick look with this market on the Rangers-Orioles. Huge move on the Rangers. You know, I'm not going to take the Rangers after a 50-cent move towards them. This total goes from 10.5 to 11. Bleds W says Baltimore first 5 money line. See, I like that. I just don't feel like this is that scary of a lineup that the Rangers are popping out. DeShield, Santana, Andrews, Mazzara, Pence, Cabrera, Odor, Guzman. That's just not a strong lineup. That's not a scary lineup. And the fight analyst says, Jimmy, tell the low baggers to take Yasupov, Goltsov parlay minus 115 for PFL tonight. There we go. Let me Copy and paste that. Thank you, Fight Analyst. I will share that. Absolutely share that. Okay, copy and paste that. Book it. Okay. I like Gerardo. His parents come from, I believe it's Panama. First time in the States for his last start. He pitches well. Now his parents have been there all week. Has that affected him in any kind of negative way? Probably not. Probably getting home cooking. Josh Minnie says, but Hess is a garbage can. Von Poe says the Orioles cannot hit consistently, and David Hess gives up a lot of home runs. I'm just saying that with this lineup, I would take the Rangers at minus 160, but not at minus 190. 89 Fahrenheit, clear 9 miles per hour to left center. I don't know. I'm off of it. I guess I'm off of it. All right, Athletics, Angels. Athletics, Angels. I jumped on the A's, first 5 plus 122, full game plus 113. Fires has been pitching better. Let's see what I'd get right now if I jumped on the A's. Money line, let's see right now. Here we go, A's money line. That is still available, full game. Plus 113. There's even a plus 115. So money coming back in on the Angels. Joe Nisi said, my girl just overheard Jimmy say, I'm putting 125 on Taint. She goes, what are you listening to? Alex Ramirez is on the Rangers run line. Alex Ramirez, Spidey plays of the day, been cashing. Russell Gordy says, I'm really leaning Baltimore. Cashner being a little better. It's not Cashner. It's not Cashner. He's not the primary either, right? Let me just check out that quickly. Yeah, it's just Hess. Bada Boom says, thankfully, Angels closed my parlay, but off this game. And Anil Frank says, Astros are blowing it right now. Okay, I doubled up on the A's. Let's talk a bit about it. Fire 7 consecutive starts in which he's allowed 3 runs or fewer. That includes his no-hitter. For the season, 4-3, 4.78 ERA, 1.16 whip. That's a nice whip. He hasn't faced the Angels all season, 4-4 with a 5.25 ERA in 11 career games against them. Trout hits him hard. Skaggs faced Oakland in his season debut, gave up 2 runs in 4 2/3. He's not pitched well against the A's in his career. Gate Pass Key and I are going heads up against each other. Gate Pass Key on the Bruins minus 2.5. I am on the Blues to shock the world in Game 5. And then the only other game is Nationals-Padres. Nationals-Padres. Let's just quickly look at the batter versus pitcher on these late games to see if it makes us move in any sort of direction. Here we go. Happ, Bauer, Berrios. So Berrios, the Indians against Berrios don't hit him. 207 batting average and no hard hits. Santana has a homer and a triple against them, but those are the only big hits. There's a couple doubles. There's a few doubles. Against Bauer, it's the same sort of deal, a slightly better. The Twins batters are slightly better against them, and it's thanks to Scope and Polanco. All right, the Jays batters against Happ. Again, only 26 at-bats, and they don't hit him very hard. They are 6 for 26. Against Edwin Jackson, these Yankees do hit him hard. But just 1 home run in 34 at-bats with no triples and just 3 doubles. So not a ton of power, but a lot of singles. Let's talk about the Rangers against Hess. They don't hit him very hard, but very small sample size. 3 singles and 8 at-bats. Gerardo and the Orioles, they are hitting 3 for 9 against them with a double and 2 singles. Now let's talk about these A's. These A's against Skaggs, smash them. But the Angels against Fires, smash them. It's pretty much equal. And then we get to our last game of the night. The Nationals flying all the way from Washington last night into San Diego to play a team that's been in San Diego on a disappointing homestand, losing games late. Bleds W says Padres over. Let's take a quick look at what the market's doing, and then we will show the fight analyst video and bring in our guy, Anna Merrick. So this line has stayed still all day. It's moved within 5 or 10 cents, but it's exactly where it started, plus 102, minus 112. Minus 112 for the Padres. And then the total opened at 7, and it's now at 7.5. Corbin versus Lucchesi. Nats are hitting 298.55 OPS versus lefties. Are they going to be somewhat tired after this long trip across the country? Padres have won 3 of Lucchesi's last 4 starts. Over his last 4 outings, Lucchese's 1-1 with a 2.49 ERA. And Riku Roxas took the under 7.5. Russell Gordy says, Padres my fave. I hate to say that. You know, I like the Padres here, and I'm going to run with Russell Gordy on this. I know that Corbin is a very good pitcher. I just think it's very difficult to take that flight way across the country against a team that's been home for a little while and had a disappointing homestand. Corbin didn't face the Padres when they visited Washington in April, but he's 6-7 against them, 4.24 ERA. At Petco, he's 2-4 with a 3.97 ERA. And Russell Gordy, like in the under first 5, is a play in San Diego. Let's take a look at how these guys hit. So, the Padres against Corbin. Pretty nice numbers. 27 hits and 96 at-bats. 4 home runs included in that. Pretty nice. Hedges has gone deep. Renfro's gone deep. Myers has gone deep. Machado's gone deep. And Franmil Reyes is smashing the ball right now. Then let's look at the numbers against Lucchese. Small sample size, 36 at-bats, and they've hit him pretty hard. But that was in Washington. How's that going to handle here in San Diego? Joe Anisi says Nationals money line. San Diego last in average versus lefties. Nats highest on base percentage versus lefties. Yeah, we went over that. Slightly went over that. Padres are hitting just 216, 712 OPS against lefties. Marshall Hoppin says Bruins big tonight. Chara and Matt both back. I think the Blues smell blood, Marshall. Maybe Bud too, but they smell blood. There's our guy, Stack Wop. Let's go over all the plays quickly. And am I adding San Diego? I'm close to adding San Diego on this spot. Let's take a look and see. I doubt we have confirmed lineups. Let's quickly look and see if we got confirmed lineups. And we don't. I am going to back the San Diego Padres. Bleds W says expect the bullpen to give up a lot of runs late. Gate Pass Key says, I know how much you love being on the other side of me in NHL. No, I don't love it at all. I would much prefer, Gate Pass Key, that we were on the same side. Absolutely. I would much prefer that we were on the same side. Boogie Lover Q says that slider is nasty. Don't think Padres hurt him today. I am going to take the Padres here at home. I'm going to take the home. It's basically a pick 'em. The Padres, I'm going to get at minus 109. That's at Bet Online. So that's just changed from minus 112. So a 3-cent move towards the Nationals while this show's being on. Minus 109, I'm taking it. Padres. Minus 109. Book it. Okay, Aloha Eastside Rollers, the same here. Jimmy, San Diego tonight. Okay, so let's go over my plays, and then we're going to play the Fight Analyst video, and then bring in our guy, Ann America. I'm on the Blues at plus 140. I hit with the Mets minus 1. Didn't bet it. What an idiot I am. I lost with the Royals first 5 at plus 117. Lost with the Cardinals first 5 minus half, minus 105. Should have taken that full game. And my late show card. Indians minus 114. That's a tame play of the day. Then I'm on the Athletics first 5 and full game, both at plus lines, plus 122 and plus 113. And then I'm on the Padres at minus 109. Alex Ramirez says, good pick, Jimmy. On the Padres, I like hearing that. And there's our guy, Angel Romero, says, what up, Jimmy? MLS Soccer, New York FC first half money line, minus 115. Twins money line, Rangers first 5, and Yankees run line. Interesting stuff, Angel Romero. Okay, well, that's that half of the show. Now we have a very exciting second half of the show. We're going to start with our guy, the Fight Analyst, second video. He joined us last week, new to the Low Bag family, and we're excited to have him. We're going to hear his play of the day in UFC 238 in Chi-Town, in Chirac. Hopefully, it matches up with our guy, Anna Merrick, because what we've seen is when we've got experts, multiple experts on the same show, and they're both on the play without talking to each other, that play hits at a very high percentage. Well, let's get it started. Rafa, my guy, here we go. Straight from Miami, Florida, the Fight Analyst.
What's up, everyone? It's the Fight Analyst here. Unfortunately, we're coming off a pretty underwhelming card at UFC Stockholm. You know, you win some, you lose some, but that doesn't mean we can't get right back into it, especially this weekend at UFC 138. It's a massive fight card we got going on this weekend. In the main event, we have the Bantamweight Championship on the line with Henry Cejudo trying to become another double champ in the UFC, taking on Magic Marlon Moraes. And for my best bet on the night, it's actually going to be in the headliner. I'm looking to take Magic Marlon Moraes at minus 120 on 5 dimes against Henry Cejudo. Well, in this one, we have Henry moving up in a weight class. He's going from 125 as a 125-pound champ, thinking he can come up to 135 pounds and just do the same thing that he did to TJ Dillashaw, which a lot of people did not see coming, including myself. I was on the other end and thought TJ was going to be invincible, thought he was going to come down and just take care of business, but that wasn't the case. Henry looked fantastic. He came in there with a great game plan, blitzed TJ, and took him out fairly quick, fairly easily. But that's not going to happen here. Moraes is a different animal. He's massive. He's the bigger fighter. He's got the bigger reach. He's got more muscle mass. He's the more complete fighter. His arsenal of strikes is insane. It's the best that Cejudo has faced, next to Demetrius Johnson, who gave him a ton of problems on the feet. And if he had a ton of problems on the feet against DJ, he's going to have a ton of problems on the feet against Moraes. Moraes is technically the Edson Barbosa of the bantamweight division. I mean, technically, that's because he's trained with them since he was 16 years old. Moraes, his kicks are lethal. I mean, he's coming off 3 knockout wins against 3 top 5 contenders at the bantamweight division. He took out Rafael Assunção. He took out Aljamain Sterling. He took out Jimmy Rivera. Assunção hasn't been finished since 2011. Aljo has never been finished, and Jimmy Rivera was coming off a 25 win streak, and he's never been finished. So this is not going to be an easy fight for Cejudo by any means.
There is our guy, the fight analyst. He breaks down this fight in a beautiful 6.5 minute video. I'm going to send the link right here. If you guys want to see the whole fight analyst video, there it is. And he breaks it down in 6.5 minutes. I can't wait to hear what our next guest has to say about the fight analyst play of the day. But I know we're going to lead into that, because that is the big fight on the card. Let's welcome in our MMA expert, Anna Merrick, on this Thursday afternoon, coming to you live from Phoenix, Arizona. How you doing today, my guy?
I'm doing great, Jimmy. I'm pumped. I cannot wait. I cannot explain to you just how excited I am for UFC 238. This card is stacked, and there's so much betting value on it. I can't wait. I'm ready to sink my teeth in. Let's go.
Well, Grim Reaper is on Tai Tuivasa, Pedro, and agrees, says Marlon will finish Cejudo. Now, I don't want you to get to that until the very end. I want to take our time and roll into what we're going to talk about. But let's start with the setting. Chicago, Chirac, how does that affect things?
Well, if you don't know, Chicago is most well known for hot dogs, deep dish pizza, Polish street jazz, and Al Capone. So we got some killers already in town. I think that's going to be pretty fitting for the UFC rolling in.
It's going to be exciting. This is a huge card, and I've got your picks right here. I'm going to pull up the market moves, and let's get right after it right now. Here we go. Fighting. This is all the moves that you got to keep the market open all day long, and that's what I do. I'm at sportsbookreview.com, and I just opened up the fight page. All right, let's start with Joe Calderwood up against Caitlin Shukagian. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Joanne Calderwood opens at minus 120. There has been a 10-cent move to Caitlin. How do you see this fight banging out?
Man, JoJo is the dark horse of the division. They never give my girl respect, and I've cashed out on her in her last 3 fights in a row. She is impressive, and people just don't want to give her that kind of credit. She's fighting Caitlin Chookagian, who's a one-dimensional fighter who can't get the takedown. She's going to have the ground advantage. She's going to have the striking advantage, and I think she's playing out meaner. On top of that, she's got an adorable Irish accent, and my wife hates it because I've got a crush on this girl. We're rolling with JoJo.
We're rolling with JoJo. That is the first fight on Anna Merrick's list. The next up is the Darren Stewart, Bevan Lewis fight. Darren Stewart opening up at plus 195. There's been a 45-cent move towards Lewis. Stewart, Lewis, who do you like here?
You know what? I'm all over Bevon Lewis in this spot. He is a massive favorite, though. I'm taking a slightly different angle on it. We actually faded Lewis in his first UFC fight against Uriah Hall. I was one of the few people who I know actually on that one. Hall came through as, I think, a plus 190 underdog. KO'd him when Lewis slowed down in round 3. Lewis is one of these young, smart, up-and-coming fighters. He's not going to make that same mistake, and his opponent, Stewart, is not the caliber of Uriah Hall. But I'm not going to lay minus 230, minus 250 with a kid who just gassed out in round 3 and got clipped because of it against a guy who goes by the fight name of the Dentist. They call him that because he knocks people's teeth out. Everybody is scared to strike with this dude. Now, Lewis has some wrestling credentials, but we've never seen them in the octagon. I'm actually going to play the prop on this one. You can get Bevon Lewis by decision at plus 190. And that is where the value is, in my opinion. Stewart's never been knocked out. He's only been submitted, and he's only lost decisions. We're turning a minus 200 favorite into a plus 200 dog.
Wow, I like that look, and my voice just broke just to show how much I like it. Everybody loving the JoJo spot too. Fight analyst backing it, Chip Plylar backing it, saying JoJo is stealing. The next up is Lewis by decision. Next up, Angela Hill. Angela Hill opening up at plus 144, and there's been a 6-cent move away from her towards the favorite. How do you like this bout?
Now, if you've been watching this line move, it's been nuts. Yan got all the way up to minus 210 at one point and then swung back down to about minus 130. I mean, it's been an absolute roller coaster of a line on this fight. I'm on Yan personally. I think she's a phenom. Angela Hill is another one of these one-dimensional fighters. She's rangy. She's tough. If she can secure the takedown, she might be able to grind out a win here. But Yan is constant forward pressure at all times, and this is a short turnaround for Angela Hill, so I don't think she's going to have the cardio that we usually tend to see, and she has a history of gassing out herself even on a full training camp. I think Yan walks her down and wins a relatively simple 3-round decision.
We are backing Yan. Let's move on to the next stop. Calvin Kattar, Ricardo Lamas. Kattar opening at minus 150. There's been a 5-cent move towards the underdog, Ricardo Lamas. What do you like here?
When I first saw this fight, I thought I was going to be on Lamas. You guys know I love my dogs. I'm all over the underdogs in mixed martial arts. But Lamas is 37 years old. He's been a perennial contender, and he's gotten caught a couple of times. He's got a well-rounded skill set, but he's going to be a lot smaller in this fight. And Calvin Kattar has had some very, very impressive stand-up fights in his last 3 UFC outings. I'm so high on this kid after going back and watching tape. He's going to have the height and the reach advantage. And Lamas, while he's dangerous if this fight hits the ground, I don't think he can get it there. He's not much of a wrestler. So being able to actually secure the takedown and then get it to the ground and then get the submission, I don't really see happening. He's also been knocked out. And as you get older, that happens easier and easier. I think we're getting a short price on a young up-and-comer who might be a top 5er in the very near future. I'm on Cater.
Wow. Okay, backing it. I like it. Let's keep rolling here. We are moving on to this fight here. Alexa Grasso versus Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Kowalkiewicz opening as a minus 155 favorite. A 40-cent move towards Alexa Grasso. What do you think of that move, and who are you taking here?
Well, first off, that move came because she put out an Instagram post thanking her fans and thanking everyone for the journey for the past 7 years. Everyone thinks she's retiring. Jimmy, she's not retiring. I found a video of her doing an interview from her home country, so it's not in English, but it was subtitled, and she talks about wanting to get back on the horse, and she wants to fight at least 3 more times before the end of 2019. I think that big line move came in because they think that the UFC has a young up-and-coming fighter here who's going to springboard off a potentially shot and retiring older star. And I just don't think that that is the case. Now, while I do like Grasso, I think she's got some upside. We're now getting the favorite at a pick'em price. And since her mind is not where all those people betting Grasso thinks it is, she's locked in. She's on a 2-fight losing streak. I think she bounces back here. She's the more well-rounded fighter. She's the better striker. The only thing I want to caution everybody on is when you've got a young up-and-coming fighter, they can improve drastically. But we're getting a pick'em. I'm going to take the elder statesman at a pick'em price in this case.
Wow, interesting
Carolina.
look. Yeah, I like the look on Carolina. I like the look. Very interesting breakdown. All right, now let's move on to Ty. Let's get these odds up right here. Blagoy Ivanov against Ty Tuivasa. Ivanov opening up at plus 123, excuse me. There's been a 9-cent move on him. He's now at plus 12. Are you backing Ivanov?
No, I will not be backing Ivanov. I do not like Ivanov at all. He's actually got a really cool personal story outside the cage, but as a fighter, I'm not impressed. He's slow, he's plodding, he's got a very old school style that just doesn't work in MMA these days, and his last win was gifted to him by the judges. I was on Big Ben Rothwell, and we got robbed that night. Big Ben beat him pillar to post, and I don't know what those judges were looking at. So he should be 0-2 in the UFC, not 1-1. Now, Tai Tuivasa, on the other hand, he's a young up-and-comer with a very impressive set of skills. He's got great footwork, he's got power in both of his hands, and he was well on his way to defeating Junior Dos Santos, who's the former UFC heavyweight champion and looks like he's knocking on the door for another title shot with a career resurgence. Now, he had busted up Junior Dos Santos for about a round and a half, completely crippled his leg, slowed his movement down, and then he got over-aggressive. He really wanted to put the legend away, and he took a bad angle, and JDS caught him. When he got clipped with that punch, he didn't go out. He just got knocked down. JDS got on top of him, and he could not get out of that spot on the ground. So he does have a weakness on the floor. But if he comes in and he makes the right adjustments, which younger, up-and-coming fighters with good camps do, he should pick Blagoy Ivanov apart for 3 rounds because he's the faster, harder-hitting fighter, and he's the more technical fighter with more weapons. I like Tai Tuivasa.
We got Ty. We are backing Ty here. Let's move on to the next bout, and we have a big favorite, Peter Yan, going up against Jimmy Rivera. Yan opening up at minus 310. He's now at minus 325, 15-cent move towards him. What are you doing with this bout?
You know what? This is another one where we're going to turn a huge favorite into a dog. We're not going to risk a parlay. We're not going to lay all that wood. I'm going to take Peter Yan inside the distance. This kid is a murderer. He goes by the fight name of No Mercy, and it's the most appropriate UFC fighter's name I think I've ever seen. He wants to rip absolutely everybody's head off, and he moved out to Tiger Muay Thai before this camp. I've been seeing videos on Instagram and on Twitter of him hitting pads and doing work. If it's possible, he's even more explosive coming into this camp. I think he's going to completely roll here. And the kind of pressure that he puts on his opponents, his whole game plan is to break his opponents. And I don't think that he's going to get to the judges' scorecards in this fight. I'm looking at a second or a third round finish. We can get him plus 160 inside the distance. Instead of laying 3.5, 4 units or risking a parlay on someone slipping on a banana peel, I'm going to play 1 unit and get plus 160 on it instead.
Interesting. Fight analyst liking him too says, but via unanimous decision. And Mr. Fat Fist saying Yan, but line's too big. Wow. And Mr. Fat Fist says, I can see going all 3. Wow. Very, very interesting. There's our guy, Chris Postal. I love it. Okay, let's keep rolling along and see what's next up on the docket for our guy, Anna Merrick. Sorry, I got too many things open here. Way too many things open. Here, let me go. Okay, next up, we come to the main event. Oh, no, sorry, this is Ferguson Cerrone. Sorry, Ferguson Cerrone. Is it a co-main event?
Actually, surprisingly enough, this is the 3rd fight down. We've got a double headliner on this one with 2 title fights. So even though Ferguson Cerrone should be the headliner of any other UFC card, they're number 3 on this one.
Wow. Okay, let's hear what you have to say about Ferguson Cerrone.
Well, you all know very well my history with Cerrone. That fucker hates me. I don't know what it is, but every single time he gets in the cage, I don't know how to pick his fights. I bet on him, he loses. I bet against him because of all the reasons I've listed a million times. He comes through, and he has made me do the walk of shame more than any other fighter on the planet. So I'm taking the angle on this one of simply playing that the fight does not go to decision at minus 115. Ferguson is coming in hungry to prove that he is still the legitimate title holder at 155. He's had some chin issues and gets hurt in basically every fight. Donald Cerrone has cranked it up a notch, and he somehow unbelievably is wrecking basically everybody he fights at the very end of his career. He also has had weakness issues to the body. The kind of output that these two guys can put on, I'm just going to bet that they kill each other and the fight doesn't go to decision, and Cerrone ain't getting a piece of this ass this weekend.
I hope not. I hope not. We don't want another walk of shame.
Watch, Cerrone's going to win by decision.
Yeah. All right, I love it. And then we get to the main event, and I can't wait to hear you talk about this after seeing the fight analyst video. How are you handling it, and what do you think about what the fight analyst thinks?
We're going head-to-head, baby. I'm head-to-head with the fight analyst. I'm on Henry Cejudo. I am a believer, and I don't know what this guy's got to do to get people behind him. He came up as an Olympic gold wrestler, and he took his first shot at the greatest of all time and got dropped back down the ladder. He rebounded in about 2.5, 3 years, and he dethroned the greatest fighter that we may have ever seen. Demetrius Johnson was on an unprecedented, I think, 10-year undefeated streak. He's the only champion 125 pounds has ever had. And Henry Cejudo, in a very short amount of time, putting his insane level of athleticism to use, dethroned him. Not only that, TJ Dillashaw, who looked like he was going to be the reigning champion for God knows how long, on EPO, which is a performance-enhancing drug and a banned substance, drops down to face him, and he KOs him flat in the first round. And everyone's telling me that Cejudo's got no shot against Moraes. I don't get it. This guy proves everybody wrong at every turn. And the proof's in the pudding. Marlon Moraes may be on this crazy streak of flash knocking people out in under a minute. And while all of those feats are impressive, I'm not discounting any of those. Just before that, he had a fight with John Dodson. John Dodson is relatively shot at this point in his career, but he had a speed advantage over Marlon Moraes, and he tagged Marlon up. The speed and the threat of the wrestling made it where Marlon Moraes was not able to pull the trigger on those gigantic shots that he usually does. Cejudo is going to do the same thing, and he is a better wrestler than John Dodson. He is faster than John Dodson, and he hits harder than John Dodson. I think Cejudo is one of the smartest game planners in the entire UFC. They're going to come in ready, and I don't think Moraes is going to have the ability to get comfortable enough to land that KO shot. Now, obviously, these are the two kinds of fighters that can put literally anybody away in under a minute, so we could be wrong here, but I'd rather roll the dice on the underdog. Not only that, I'm going to unzip my pants and put my nuts on this table. I'm taking Henry Cejudo inside the distance at plus 320.
Wow. Please pull your nuts out onto the table as soon as you're done this video. No, he's doing Anna Merrick, wow. Cejudo inside the distance at plus 320. Wow. So that's the biggest line that you are on. Cejudo inside the distance at plus 320. Wow. People on either side. Sportscake said Cejudo being the dog is the joke. Wow, Robbie Tagalo, I'm on Cejudo at the dog price. Wow, great stuff, Anna Merrick. Thank you so much for joining us. Beautiful breakdown. I absolutely love it. Mr. Fatfish says, wow, ballsy. Let's not talk too much about the balls. But impressive stuff. Clint, I'm looking at Max Miss 3D. Clint, where can we find you on Twitter, and tell us a little bit about your podcast?
I'm at Maximus in 3D on Twitter. The Die Hard MMA podcast, that's at Die Hard MMA Pod on Twitter and Instagram. I break down all these fights in way more depth. If you want to go listen, I've got about an hour and 20 minutes worth breaking down UFC 238 this week. Just to let you know, two things, Jimmy. Number one, Tai Tuivasa, he's your kind of guy. Every time he gets done with a fight, win or lose, he does a shoey where he cracks open a beer and dumps it in the shoe of a fan at the UFC card and then chugs it right there on camera. So check him out. And then one note on Henry Cejudo, his last 4 fights in a row, yours truly has been on him. One of those was a plus 300 win against Demetrius Johnson, and I cashed at plus 250 with him inside the distance when he wrecked TJ Dillashaw as well. So I'm not getting off this train. Love you guys. Best of luck, everybody. Thanks for the support. We got 9 UFC picks. I'm ready for a big night. Let's go.
Oh, I love it. There is our guy, Anna Merrick, from the Die Hard MMA podcast. Absolutely love it. Great seeing all the talk in the chat. Just very interesting stuff. Our guy, Frank Solvay, says, Jimmy, can you please tell me your winner for race 11? I can. I'm expecting, when you say race 11, I'm expecting that to be at Belmont Park on Saturday at 6:48 p.m. Eastern time. And for that race, I'm going for a big score. I want a big score. I need a big score. I'm taking Spinoff at 15 to 1, $100 across the board. That's what I'm doing. Hopefully cash out 2,300 on that. We shall see, but that's what I'm on. I'm on spinoff. And I don't know if it's a good thing. A lot of like very sharp handicappers who I've looked up to and great horse handicappers are using spinoff in all their tickets. But I don't hear anybody saying, I'm on spinoff to win. So that makes me a little uncomfortable. But I love that really sharp cappers like spinoff and are using them. That's who I'm on. All right, let's get to work and bring in our NBA analyst representing Los Angeles, California. Love having him on our show on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Please welcome to the show our guy, Ski Prophet. Ski, how you doing today?
What up, Jimmy? I'm doing well, and it's great to be back here with you. I did lose on that last NBA game, but it's great to see you had a nice plus money winner. I was definitely cheering for you. I know you're happy for your city.
Yeah, I'm very happy. And I hit also with Lowry over rebounds and assists. And then I lost on Kawhi. The point total over was 30.5, and he scored 30. And he had 2 layups in the last 90 seconds. I guess because he pulled in the last 90, but in his last 90 seconds. And I just couldn't believe I couldn't get that point. But that's gambling. That's gambling. Still a nice spot and hit with that plus 170 dog. All right, let's get right to it. First off, KD ruled out. KD ruled out. That surprises me. I really thought he was going to be coming back. Let's see what the market has done with that information because it just recently came out. Here we go, NBA. Let's see what the market has done. So this opened at 4.5, and amazingly enough, there's still 5s up on the board. I thought Pinnacle would move it to 4.5, but as well. But Pinnacle opened it at 5.5. So Pinnacle opened it at 5.5. It got down to 5 about, I guess, when the news was announced, down to 5. And total wise, Pinnacle opened it at 215.5, and it's moved up to 260. And it's interesting because Clay not on the floor, Danny Green eats, the perimeter's wide open. Clay comes back. Shouldn't the perimeter close up, and shouldn't this game possibly go under? I'm very interested to hear what you have to say about all of this, Ski. Take it away.
And Jimmy, I will say, I don't know what happened, but I got disconnected and reconnected real fast. I missed some of what you said, but I know KD is still going to be out, like you said. And as far as that under, I'm expecting defense in this game. I'm going to start off by reading a quote from Steph Curry during his interview. And pretty much he was just saying we can't fall into the trap of thinking offense alone will win the game. He was like, we have to have that effort on defense. And he said he liked things that he saw in the game and that we can make adjustments on. And the biggest adjustment in game 4 is going to be defense. And Steve Kerr as well, he said we've scored 109 points every game, so we have to hold them to 108. He said defense wins championships. So on that note, I mean, it's been tough to trust the Warriors because they are capable of playing defense, but it seems like they just go, I don't know, one quarter they want to play, the next quarter they don't. From what they've said and what just me trusting them, I think the game goes under. It's under 26-15 last 41 without Curry, with KD. Under 29-21 at home for Golden State. Under 7 of the last 10 games for Toronto. I like that under, Jimmy.
At this point, does it make sense to not put that bet in and watch it climb? People are going to have a recency bias from game 3. Will the public put together Clay's back? It'll be more defensive. Do you think this goes down or up moving forward?
I wouldn't be in a rush. I mean, from my perspective, everybody thinks the series is going to yield a lot of points. In general, when these teams play, I mean, it's went over, I think, 8 of the last 11 times versus Toronto for Golden State. So recency bias as far as the last game and everything else. I see money tickets and ticket percentages going towards the over right now. I don't see a reason to rush to bet the under. When Clay is announced in, I think for sure, I think the number will go up, and I think people will bet the over some more. So I would wait on that. I will say this is the first time that I can remember seeing Golden State as a underdog to win the championship. At bookmaker, they were plus 114, and I can't remember last year any point them being an underdog, and they're 5.5 or 5-point favorites right now. It's hard for me to go away from that. I like Golden State to win the championship. Toronto's been great. I I see Golden State winning the championship, Jimmy, plus 114 price. I think that's better than taking just the next game at minus 110 for 5 or 5.5. I think that's a good bet for me. I'm taking them to win the series.
That makes complete and total sense. Why? Yeah, take the plus line, stay live, even if they lose game 4. And that's the thing when you're dealing with champions. These guys could be down 3-1 going back to Toronto, and they could still be live. One of our guys in the chat, whom you know, PRC publicist, representing the 6, representing Toronto, also representing Haiti, he said all along, Raptors are going to win in 5, Raptors are going to win in 5. And after each game, he says, watch, Raptors are going to win in 5, Raptors are going to win 5. But I'm telling you, Raptors could win game 4, and like, there's no celebrating. There's no nothing. This is a 2-time defending champion. This is the Golden State Warriors we're talking about. And they're capable of winning even when they're down. Even when they're down. So Michael Irelina says they weren't ever underdogs because KD was healthy. WW Tane says Toronto in 6, book it. Well, for me, again, I made a bad decision, but maybe I needed to hear that Durant wasn't in the lineup. You know, missing that plus 6, maybe that created a situation where I was forced to take the money line. It's kind of hard to exactly figure out, would I have doubled up on it with the plus 6 and the money line? Would I have been so happy with the plus 6 that I just fat and happy was like, you know, why bother taking the money line? All this said and done, this line is going down. I'm betting this right when the show's over. I'm taking the Raptors at plus 175. That's available at 5 dimes. I just think that things have changed so fast in this series.
Why does it go down, though?
Because
I think it goes up when Clay's announced in.
Clay's going to be in. Clay's probable. This line is accounting Clay to be in. This line's dropped because KD's out. I think money's going to come streaming in on the Raptors, Clay being in or Clay being out. I don't think I mean, obviously, the Warriors have a better chance with Clay, but right now he's got to prove he can go out and play 35 minutes and chase the ball on the perimeter, which I'm sure he can do. But I see money coming in on the Raptors. Clay will be announced in. We expect him to be in. I see plus 160s. I don't think I can get plus 175 moving forward. I really, really don't. Chip Plylar says, I got Golden State plus 100 for the series with a guy at work. OG Wham says Clay is in. I think this market has Clay in. I don't think it changes. I think this is the best line I can get, plus 175. I think money keeps coming in on the Raptors. You don't agree with that?
I can see people betting the Raptors, like you said, recency bias. And if you want some stats that back the Raptors, I mean, they're 6-1 against the spread and straight up. Their last 7 games, they're 5-2 against the spread. Last 7 games versus Golden State, they're 12-8 as a road dog. They're 4-3 when the spread is +4 to +7. So, I mean, those things right there favor Toronto. Golden State, when the spread is -7 to -4, I have 5, 14, and 1, and 19, 29, and 1 as a home favorite. So, I mean, those are some stats that favor Toronto.
There's so much that favors Toronto right now. It's unbelievable. I cannot believe in a series against the Golden State Warriors, the Raptors are sitting here in the catbird seat. It's almost unfathomable. I'm in total awe. There's never been an opportunity like this against this Warriors team, dealing with all these injuries. Kevon Looney was very important. Boogie looked terrible. Gasol is confident and rolling. I know he had one bad game in the series, but he's had 2 great games. Ibaka gives us that toughness that every team craves, that we didn't have. As soon as Charles Oakley left Toronto, we didn't have it. You know, Antonio Davis, Charles Oakley, those guys, they gave us toughness that we haven't had in years and years and years and years. And we have them now.
I want to read a couple comments, Jimmy. Sorry.
Sure.
OG Wham. Not really recency bias if everyone's hooping for Toronto. Yeah, everyone's hooping because Golden State's not playing defense. I mean, they shot, 50-something%. You hear everything saying we can't have a first quarter how we had let them score 30-something points. We see quarters where Golden State locks in on defense and Toronto can't score. Quarters where Golden State doesn't care about defense and Toronto does whatever they want. Or maybe Golden State is short on defense, as King Rail says, Clay won't be 100. That hurts Golden State's defense, in my opinion. Going to take the alternate line again with the Raptors. So that's what I see, Jimmy. I mean, Warriors winning and unders are correlated. Without KD, Warriors have to play defense in order to win games. If they don't play defense, they can't rely on outscoring everybody. It's not going to work. So that's what I see there as far as Toronto hooping or Golden State playing defense. And when I hear Golden State and Steph Curry, everybody paying attention to detail about defense in the interviews and them being down in the series, that lets me know that I should expect that the next game and not the same outcome, 50+% for Toronto. That's what they've had to do to win. They had to shoot 50% or better to win versus Golden State. I'm not sure that we'll get that again and at Oracle.
I think the Warriors are in enormous trouble. And Brandon Lugo says when Boogie's on the court, their defense is burnt. He looks terrible out there. Does Bogut get more minutes in Game 4?
I love Bogut. As I said, Bogut was the defensive player of the year before, and we see his impact. He can even has an impact on offense with the lobs, so he should play minutes. He was a big part during the first championship run. So I like Bogut to play minutes. They definitely need some help. Cousins can't do it all. Just coming off the injury, expecting him to play all the minutes. I mean, I would expect him to not be as good as that first game. So they need Kevon Looney, as you said earlier. I mean, he was their best big to switch out on guards. They're missing him a lot.
Yeah, you almost don't realize how good he is until he's not there. And you're like, man, that guy, he does so many things for them on the court, and he does them with speed. Say what you want about Bogut, being a quality player, he's still slow. Him and Boogie are so slow. Now, Gasol doesn't have wheels, but Ibaka can run circles around these guys. Ibaka can run pretty well for a big guy. I just think we're in tremendous shape. I'm just shocked. I feel like if I talk about it, it's going to fall apart. Like, I just can't even believe it. WW Train says, book it, Toronto. Guru Sportsbet says, Bogut gets 15 to 17 minutes in Game 4. OG Wham says, Siakam has had a bad game in this final so far, and Draymond has already said it. It's been a lot of trouble for them, and they are winning on the boards. Oh, they're long. Yeah, they're long. They're long. They're dangerous. This is a dangerous Raptors team. And right now, when we're talking about Siakam, Gasol, and Ibaka going up against Bogut and Boogie, the Warriors are in deep trouble. I just see the Warriors in deep trouble. Ron Crawford says under. Now, I know this can all change. Very, very, very quickly. And watching Clay on the bench with that scowl, that guy wants to be on the floor. That guy's going to be dangerous. But whether or not his hamstring will hold up, that's the question. I am locking in Raptors plus 175. Michael Irvelina says, if they win it all, are you going to the parade? That's something that I've been talking about. I don't even want to talk. Let's not even talk parades. The parades, we're up against the two-time defending champs Golden State Warriors, and we are beating them because they're hurt. And if they want to put a caveat or an asterisk beside an NBA championship, I don't care. We don't care. We want a champion. And I think that's what's coming. But Ski staying steadfast back in the Warriors. Are you making that an official bet, Warriors, right now to win the series? Are you going to wait on that? You're going to do that tonight? How are you planning on doing that?
Yeah, I made the Warriors to win the series. I told Ian Cameron this on the weekend show before. It was a day where he wanted the Raptors to win, but he didn't have a ticket on the Raptors. I'm not 100% sure that they would win this game. I do think they'll win, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm not going to be betting the spread right this moment. But even if they didn't win this game, I would still have confidence in them to win the series. I know not many teams have came back from 3-1. So I've been following some trends, or I've been recording the trends actually, and I'm making like a small couple play on some of these quarters. Vegas, or let me start off with it's the Vegas versus the Dream. Dream have been terrible. I mean, they're damn near last. They can't really score. They don't play any defense. It's been a straight fade. The only game that they won is just because the Wings gave the game up at the end of the game. And they're 0-5 against the spread. Their last 5, 1-4 straight up. They're 0-3 first quarter against the spread, first half against the spread. And Vegas, they've been starting out pretty good and then kind of maybe fading out a little bit towards the end. Bill Laimbeer is not going to be happy. I expect Vegas to come out fast and early. They're 2-1 first quarters against the spread, first quarter and first half. So I'm gonna go with that fade on the Dream early, and I'm on Vegas first quarter, and I might also take the first half on the next game, the Mercury and the Lynx. Mercury, they come out strong in that first quarter and then they fade away as well. They're a team that plays much better at home than on the road. They're 1-5 straight up their last 6 road games. Um, the Lynx, it would be a game that I would in play them. Maybe after the first quarter, that's when Phoenix tends to fall off. I expect the Lynx to win, so that's how I would approach that game there. And the last game we have the Sparks and the Sun. I can hear Jay Money on this one. It's revenge game for the Sun. They lost to the Sparks maybe a couple days ago, I think in May, the last day of May. And the Sun are a team that play better at home as well. The best home court in the NBA. They average 86 points per game at home. They did fall last game to the Sparks. The Sparks are not going to have Elena Bird, Candace Parker, Vadiva. So I like if I'm playing this game, it would have to be the Sun against the spread, or it's two great defensive teams, first and third defensive rating. They do like to play at a fast pace, second and fifth pace, but I think the defense could prevail, and I would lean on the under. But the only one I did bet is going to be the Aces first quarter, and I'm looking at the first half.
You know what? First off, someone who we love dearly, who we haven't seen in so long, Muhammad Joma, back in the chat. What a treat it is to see you, Muhammad. Love you, man. Hope all is good your way. And I'm going up against a lot of these guys. Muhammad Joma, Farsha Sami, a lot of these great cappers. Gate Pasky. I'm taking the Blues. Taking the Blues. Well, some interesting stuff from your WNBA breakdown, and thank you so much for sharing it. First off, the first quarter play on the Aces. Wow, it just changed. It just changed a bit. Wow, interesting. But all of the books are at -1. Pinnacle, though, is at -2. And to take that -2, it's minus. Oh, wow. It just switched again. It keeps changing. Wild,
WNBA is
wild.
crazy.
It keeps changing. But the same thing is still there. They don't want you to take the Aces first quarter. Everywhere it's -110. And the Aces have now moved from 2-1. But it's -127. Pinnacle does not want you to bet the Aces first quarter. The market is telling me that is the move. If you combine a market telling you something and ski profits analysis, what does that create? My first bet of the season in WNBA. I'm on the Las Vegas Aces. First quarter, -1. And the best line I can get is -110. -1, -110. Wow, that's exciting. Okay, I've not been studying it, and I will after the Triple Crown is done. Been focusing on the horses, but I love this combination of the market and ski, and me not being too late on it. I've had some great cappers send me messages to take the Sun, and I was just too busy today. And now at 7.5, just doesn't seem as glorious. But I'm on it. I'm on the Vegas Aces first quarter -1. Ski, thank you so much for joining us, man. You are such a huge asset to the team here, and you're such a big part of the family. Where can we find you on Twitter and whatever shows you got coming up?
It's great being with you, Jimmy. I always love doing the show. And you can find me on Twitter, @SkiProfit. I'll be back on today's Thursday. I'll be back on Saturday and Sunday with Drew Martin and Ian Cameron, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Closing Line Show. Come check it out, you guys. Good luck, everybody, on your bets. And thank you again, Jimmy.
Oh, it is our pleasure, our absolute pleasure. There he is, Ski Prophet. We've gone a little bit long. I will go over my plays shortly. But first, let's bring in a guy who's been a little down. He's lost his sparkle. Maybe you could help bring it back. Let's bring in Freddie Fortune. Hi, Freddie. Welcome. Yeah, let's bring the Zoom out for sure. We want to see you. So I saw that the losing streak.
He doesn't want to see me anymore.
Who's that?
I'm not happy with what's going on.
Why? What's going on?
I'm furious right now.
Talk to us.
I will close the door.
Sure.
I don't want anyone to hear. I don't want anyone to know anything about me.
All right. What's going on? Talk to me.
I saw an advertisement the other day on the newspaper.
Yeah. You still read the newspaper? I respect
Yeah.
that. I respect that.
Here in Costa Rica, we don't have computers.
Okay.
The thing is that I saw my mom advertising my fucking basement where I live.
Oh no.
I lost. I need to lose 2 more plays and she will kick me out. Remember?
I do remember.
I don't like what's going on.
No, you've been on a pretty horrible losing streak here.
Yeah,
It's the
it's
first time
like-
I've ever seen it. In the entire time you've been here, this is...
It's like 3 weeks in a row now.
Wow.
I don't like this at all.
So we got some information about your self-defense class.
Yeah, what about it? I saw you and the other fatty make fun of me.
Well, you told me it was a self-defense class. I've
It's
heard
a self-defense class. You know what Pilates is, right?
Not really.
Well, that's your problem.
All right. So
Pilates is a physical fitness program designed for self-defense to make you stronger, not only on your muscles, but also in your mind. It will help you. It will help you grow. Oh!
okay,
It
don't
will
worry.
help you go through the toughest moments in life, such as fighting against many men at the same time.
Yeah, because I thought that it was interesting that your self-defense class was just you and 7 middle-aged women. What?
See? Pilates. I'm strong now. Stop making fun of me.
I'm
You
not
know
making-
nothing.
All right. Well, Barham Dog Jenkins says Freddie Fortune is going to win today.
Thank you. Next comment.
Liberty Finder says Fearless Freddie.
Yes.
Jeffrey Newsom says Freddie Fade.
Fuck you.
Rim Reaper says Freddie Foreskin.
Fuck you.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. Liberty Finder says AFF.
What's that?
Always fade Freddie. No, don't. Come on. Let's
How
keep
do you know that?
All right. What's your play? Let's hear what this big winner is.
Women French Open.
Okay.
Semifinals.
Oh, good. So more women activities for you. I like that. Okay.
Marqueta. This is a hard name. Marqueta. Vonro Sova. Over. Joanna Conta at plus 110 at bet 365. I'm not a pussy. I'm still betting on underdogs.
It's barely an underdog. But
It's an underdog. Do you know anything about sports and capping?
oh no, you're right. You're right. Maybe I
Doesn't
should,
look like it.
oh, maybe I should just take that Pilates course with you. Is there room? Is there
Yes.
room? Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Mr. Fatfish says I'm getting Freddie laid in Miami. Freddie has a wife though.
I have a wife.
Okay. Here's my action. I'm on the Las Vegas Aces first quarter at -1. It's my first play in WNBA, and I'm not entirely sure what my unit price is going to be when I make this bet. Make a decision. It's not going to be a lot. Then I'm on the Raptors plus 175. I'm on the Blues at plus 140 going up against everybody. Oh, Raven in the Desert said, Freddie, I apologize for calling you Freddie Fivehead. That's nice.
Who says that?
Raven in the Desert.
That guy has been apologizing for like 10 shows. You're
Well, that's nice of him.
we're okay now.
Yeah. Guru Sports Bets has written out Pussy phonetically. Poosie.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's making fun of you, pussy.
Jesus.
I miss being intense. I'm always so soft now. Oh, look at me. I'm smiling. No more!
Jesus. All right. In baseball, we only have 5 late games, and I'm excited about the situations that I'm in. I'm on the Indians with the taint play today at -114. And then I'm on the A's, doubling up. First 5 plus 122, full game plus 113. And then I'm on the Padres -109. See you later, Freddie.
No, I'm not leaving.
Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. Oh, jeez. Oh, need Pilates?
Do you hear my back?
Yeah.
That's Pilates. No. I mean, we need this to stop.
Lecce,
No.
Halos Bookmakers!
No. Please, no.